I'm Taylor Thomas with a CTV News update. As the death toll continues to rise from Buffalo's recent blizzard, a former Maryland delegate now living there says the city is united to lend a helping hand to neighbors. The city's major snowstorm has claimed nearly 30 lives. Bill Braunrot, who served more than a decade in the Maryland House of Delegates and Representatives in Montgomery County, is experiencing the storm firsthand. He's been living in Buffalo for 3 years and is dealing with what's called a once-in-a-lifetime generation snowstorm. He says winds as high as 70 miles per hour have made it difficult for the community, which is accustomed to the heavy snowstorm, to deal with it.
Just yesterday was the beginning, I guess, of the big dig out. We saw huge earth movers just beginning to move down our streets. They had state police as escorts in case something came up. This is not just an inconvenience. This has been a matter of life and death with so many people without power.
While crews work to clean up from the blizzard, the city has a no driving policy in place. One family produces 3 prominent political leaders. A unique trio in Prince George's County. Patricia Vallone is here with us with the story.
That's right, Taylor. And it isn't often that you find family members in one family that are working in 3 different levels of government. Yet that's exactly what's happening with one Prince George's family. All 3 are legislators in their respective offices.
Whatever the issues are, one of us should be able to help with it. And we've always kind of worked together, but we've never had this moment where we're each elected.
She's a member of the Prince George's Council. He's a soon-to-be congressman. Glenn and Jolene Ivey have long been considered a powerhouse couple in local politics. And their son Julian followed their footsteps when he became a delegate in the Maryland General Assembly. Now the 3 will soon be a bit of a rarity, a family with members in county, state, and federal government.
Nothing should fall through the cracks, that's for sure. And you know what? We have conversations, we try and coordinate and make sure that if one level can't do it, maybe the other level is a good way to try. And trying to coordinate and work together, I think, makes sense. We try and do that with our colleagues anyway. It's even easier when we can do it over the family dinner.
Some might call the Cheverly residents a political dynasty of sorts, but the Iveys prefer to think of themselves as a family of public servants. CTV caught up with them last week while they assisted with a holiday toy drive.
It's a privilege to be well known across the county. It comes with the responsibility because people are asking us for a whole bunch of different projects to be funded, so on and so forth. But it's a humbling moment, and the 3 of us have come together to try and figure out what we can accomplish together, which of us should be handling what issues, so on and so forth. But ultimately, it's just to make sure we actually get things done for the community that has put a lot of faith into us.
So what's a typical dinner table conversation like with 3 politicians in the family?
I'm sure there are going to be times when we don't agree with each other on some issues. Jolene and I have been married getting up to 35 years now, so we've had a great marriage, but we don't always agree on everything. But we've been able to work together on the marriage and in the community, so I think it'll continue to be positive.
Well, we try not to talk about it too much over dinner because we have other children and they're not all as focused on politics as we are, so you don't want to kind of dominate the conversation. But we do all have a similar interest, so it is hard not to talk about things.
My mother and I, we were just reelected. There were a couple of different issues we weren't on the same side of last term, but we're family at the end of the day. We're a close and very strong knit group. The most important thing, though, truly at the end of the day, is that we do love each other a lot and we're grateful for each other.
And Glenn Ivey will be the next congressman from District 4. He'll be sworn into office on Tuesday, January 3rd.
What an interesting story. That's not common, right?
It is apparently very rare. I went through Google trying to find out how many families were simultaneously in different levels of government. I could not find one, but I found lots of multi-generational families. I found the Bushes and the Kennedys,
Sure.
and I'm sure somebody can prove us wrong. Give us a call and let us know if you know of another family. Love to hear from you.
So interesting. Well, now with war-torn Ukraine hoping to have a United Nations-backed peace summit by early next year, one of those watching the developments closely is Gana Shevets of Prince George's County. Shevets, who is from Ukraine and whose family still lives there, was one of the many who tuned in last week as President Vladimir Zelensky addressed the U.S. Congress. In that speech, the Ukrainian president suggested that now is not the time for talk, and he said military aid to his country is not charity.
And obviously, we need resources now more than ever because things are becoming exhausted. It's hard to simply to sustain life. Let's put it this way. And I think obviously we need more to protect the borders. We need, as we're taking, and you're seeing that Ukrainian army has taken Kherson back, Kharkiv back, and they keep moving forward, which is excellent, but that comes at a price. Democracy comes at a price nowadays, apparently.
Shevets, who has lost relatives in the nearly year-long war, says she's tried to speak with her family daily, but says the constant bombing and power outages make it extremely difficult. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Coming up, we wrap up our conversation with retiring Prince George's Judge Sheila Tillerson Adams. Stay tuned.
We know what it's like to go to war, to bravely step forward and sacrifice for what you believe is right. We see those who are redefining what it means to serve, to be a patriot, a hero, and to save lives. From our nation's injured veterans to the faces of courage across America today, we see you, we support you, we salute you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Good evening and welcome back. Here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed 1,261 new cases. The county's positivity rate is at 15.52%. 7 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours, and 680 people are hospitalized. A wastewater monitoring program reveals that COVID-19 cases are on the rise across the region. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has elevated COVID community levels to medium in Montgomery, Prince George's, Anne Arundel, and Howard counties, as well as in Alexandria and the district. Wastewater testing has proven to be an accurate indicator of rising and falling transmission levels. WSSC says it's provided samples to the CDC, which use the data as an early detection tool for communities. Tonight, we conclude our sit-down conversation with Chief Administrative Judge Sheila Tillerson Adams, who is set to retire on December 31st after decades in the legal profession, including her appointment as the first Black female judge in Prince George's County. In honor of her many years of service, the court recently renamed Courtroom M3400 as the Sheila R. Tillerson Adams Ceremonial Courtroom. In our first segment, Tillerson Adams talked about the day in middle school when she decided she was going to be a lawyer. We then asked for her advice to young kids who are thinking about their future.
I came to this courthouse every day for 38 years, and I couldn't wait to get to work. There was always something exciting. Every day wasn't fun, but every day I felt we were making a difference. I'd say follow your passion, and don't let anyone tell you no. One thing I've learned in my life is that no is just another word like anything else, and you just don't accept it. If you know you want to do something and you know it's right and you have a way, you just don't hear no. You follow your passion and don't let anybody define what your passion is.
Tillerson Adams, who is married to Bowie Mayor Tim Adams, will officially retire on December 31st. Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin will be a top leader on the House Committee on Oversight and Reform when the 118th Congress convenes. The powerful position was once held by fellow Marylander, the late Elijah Cummings. Raskins was elected by a 133 to 75 vote of the full Democratic caucus last week. According to Maryland Matters, Raskin leapfrogged over 2 senior members who were also seeking the top Democratic slot. His elevation could have implications for the 2024 U.S. Senate race in Maryland. Raskins was considered a potential candidate for Senator Ben Cardin's seat if he decides not to seek another term. U.S. Park Police are investigating a hit-and-run crash that involved several vehicles. The crash happened on Suitland Parkway near Naylor Road and Branch Avenue around 11 a.m. yesterday. The incident involved 5 cars. One of the drivers fled the scene on foot. 3 people were taken to the hospital for their injuries. U.S. Park Police are asking anyone with information on this incident to contact police at 202-379-4877. And still to come, sports and news, more coming up. Stay tuned.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Good evening and welcome back. Today is the second day of Kwanzaa. All week long, the Lake Arbor Foundation is hosting events to highlight the 7 principles of the holiday. Today is Kujishakalia, which means self-determination. The celebration includes a marketplace with vendors from 5 to 7 p.m. daily at 1399 Golf Course Drive in Mitchellville. The celebration, by the way, is open to the public. The Commanders are facing yet another possible lawsuit. It stems from the usage of the name Hogs. The NFL team's legendary members John Riggins, Doc Walker, Joe Jacoby, Mark May, and Fred Dean own the trademark name. An attorney for the men claimed the team is using the name and profiting from it without permission or compensation. Their attorney says the 2 sides have been discussing an agreement for months to no avail. Despite the public dispute, the Commanders say they're still planning to hold a Hog celebration on January 1st. The original Hogs say they do not want to be a part of the event until their issue is resolved. All right, the Wizards will look to add another game to the win column tonight as they go up against the Philadelphia 76ers. The Wizards won their last game against Sacramento, the Kings, that is. Some help from forward Rui Hachimura and guard Delon Wright. Hachimura missed 16 games prior to Friday's win over the Kings due to a bone bruise in his right ankle, and Delon Wright played his first game in almost 2 months due to a hamstring injury. Forward Kristaps Porzingis spoke about how important Wright and Hachimura are to the team.
We just have, more firepower. You saw last game, Rui came in, gave us, spark off the bench. I don't know what he scored, 14, 16 points. Delon is Delon, getting steals, like working on defense like crazy, and that was his first game back after 2 months out, and he looked good for his first game back. So I can't wait until he gets in a rhythm too, and everybody just kind of, we're all like, everybody has their role and they feel good in their role, and we could just start winning games, and then everybody's gonna feel like they're valued.
The Wizards and Sixers take the court at 7 o'clock. And that wraps up our newscast. Join us again tomorrow. I'm Taylor Thomas. Good night.